Good morning. Hi, Petty. Hi, Daddy. Hi, Wisco. I see my chat, but I guess it needs to catch up because the number that I'm seeing that's viewing is not what's showing in the chat. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? What is today? Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. So, yesterday, I started looking into the group home with Emily Pike, and I'm not going to be George has a live set up for 8:30, and I noticed that right about the time I had set mine. I'm glad I did set mine for 6:30, but I go early at times. But George has a live set for 8:30 this morning, so we are not going to be here that long. But the group home where Emily Pike was at, um, in less than, well, but 3 years, they had 30 missing persons reports. Now, I have combed through, I have looked through things. It's just saying a Mesa group home. They had 3 prior calls about Emily running away. Good morning, Dorit. Good morning, Aaron. They had 3 prior calls about Emily running away. And I need to find the name of this group home. So I did find this. I'm going to share it with you. And then we're going to talk about Jean Ann Whitefeather and David Lance, who was sentenced for holding their adopted Black kids as slaves. So we'll do that. But I want to show you what I found. And I keep trying to find this group home's name, and I can't. It's just saying that they're protecting the group home's privacy. And I don't understand why you're protecting their privacy if you're having all of these issues with this group home. So here we go.
Unanimously passes a Senate committee. And it comes as investigators are still working to find the person or people who killed young Emily Pike. And we're also learning more about the group home where Emily was living. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono joins us live now with more. Bianca.
Troy, we've obtained records and data from the Mesa Police Department giving us more insight into the amount of times they've been called to the group home where Emily lived. That includes the 30 missing persons reports taken over the past 3 years.
Hi, Watcher of Crazy.
I testified
at the Capitol Wednesday. Gila River Indian Community Governor Stephen Rowe Lewis fighting back tears as he talks about Emily Pike while advocating for a bill that would create an alert system for missing Indigenous people.
Now, Emily Pike, she went missing in January. She was found dismembered. I watched a TikTok video of Lori Jones just last night, still calling out Emily Pike's name with her 4 mangled teeth. I actually watched that video again of her doing a tribal dance. Lori, my God, people have asked you to stop. The tribe, somebody from that tribe even left a comment for you to please stop. You are the last person to talk about a missing child. Stop it. Please stop.
I testified in early February that this legislation is critical. But little did I know at that time, Emily Pike had been missing for weeks.
On January 27th, the 14-year-old girl from the San Carlos Apache tribe went missing from the group home in Mesa where she had been living. And on Valentine's Day, her remains were discovered, showing she had been dismembered. Lewis wonders what would have happened had an alert been issued.
Would Emily be alive today?
Emily's case is not the first missing persons case stemming from that same Mesa group home, which 12 News is not identifying for privacy reasons. Mesa police say there were 3 prior calls involving Emily back in 2023. And in the past 3 years, police data shows there have been 89 calls for service to the group home. 42 of those were for a missing person. 30 of those calls resulted in reports being taken. The reason a report would not be taken can vary, but can often be because the person was quickly found.
Every child deserves to be safe.
January Contreras leads Children's Action Alliance and advocates for less children to be placed in group homes.
I come back to the solution of...
Now, I think I found an email address for Janice Contreras. I think that is the right email address. So I've been really looking because I want to know what went on with this group home.
Supporting families, supporting grandparents, many grandparents, aunts, uncles ready to step in. We need to do that, and we need to recruit more foster homes as well.
DCS says while it doesn't believe any action taken or not taken by the group home caused the terrible outcome in Emily's case, they've opened a licensing inquiry to determine whether appropriate steps were taken by the group home.
No, it wasn't. You've had 3 calls for her running away. 3 calls. So that means that she still went unsupervised. She was still able to leave. And now this 14-year-old little girl has been dismembered. So no, you did not do enough to protect her. No, you did not do enough.
Investigators still work to find Emily's killer, and Governor Lewis's bill advances at the legislature. Contreras hopes Emily's tragic death leads to change.
Really?
And we have asked Mesa Police how many missing persons cases stemming from that group home over the past 3 years remain open today. They're combing through their data to find that answer for us. And the last update I received from the Gila County Sheriff's Office was that they are continuing to turn up new leads in Emily's case, but still no suspects have been identified.
So
we're live in studio tonight.
That's what I found on her. But there are 30 missing kids from that group home. 30. It was 40, 10 were returned, 30. How is this group home still able to operate with 89 calls in about 3 years? 89 calls. This is crazy. 30 kids are still missing, ran away. 40, 10 were found, 30 are still gone. 30 kids. No idea where they are. Now, let's discuss Gina and Whitefeather. She's 63. David Lance, who's 62. They moved their family from Washington State. Well, first they adopted kids in Minnesota in 2018. They adopted 5 kids, all Black, in Minnesota. They moved them to Washington State. Well, didn't seem to work out for them in Washington State. So then they moved them to Sissonville, West Virginia. Good morning, Mr. Jimenez. And thank you for last night. And thank you for thank you. I didn't even set a goal. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. 5 kids adopted in Minnesota. They were moved to Washington State. Then they moved to Sissonville, West Virginia. Okay? They moved there in 2023. In October of 2023, a neighbor reported that the children were being abused. The neighbor said that one of the children had been locked in a barn for days at a time, and they were forced to perform labor. Okay? When the deputies arrived there, they found 2 children, a 14-year-old boy and a 16-year-old girl, locked in an outbuilding with a small portable toilet and no running water. The 16-year-old told the deputy, who was the girl, she said that they hadn't been given food since 6 a.m., which was 12 hours earlier. The prosecutor charged them with human trafficking of a minor child, forced labor of a minor, gross child neglect, and child abuse by a parent causing bodily harm. Now, Jean Ann received an additional charge of, and she was convicted of civil rights violation because she was using derogatory terms when describing the children. Hi, Pam. Good morning. So they also noted that the 16-year-old was sleeping on a sleeping bag that was really, really thin. The 14-year-old had a fitted sheet and a piece of cardboard for a pillow. They only fed them peanut butter sandwiches and a jug of water. Aren't they nice? The deputies found them. They were wearing dirty clothes. The 14-year-old had sores on his bare feet. The children have been forced to perform outdoor labor, such as carrying buckets up and down the hill and pulling grass by hand. Now, their attorney said that they are a farm family, and those were the duties. Really? But we didn't see Jean Ann or David out there doing anything, did we? So there was home security camera footage that showed the other children have been forced to stand in a bedroom for hours with their hands on their heads to prevent them from sleeping. The children are now 18, 13, 10, and I think the other 18, 13, hold on. I wrote it down. Hold on. I wrote it down. 18, 16, 13, 10, and 9. You have an 18-year-old that you're treating like this. So let's hear what the judge had to say about them, because that judge did not hold back. And let me just pause her. She's a little muffled at first, but she will come through clear. Hold on a second. 5 kids forced to do slave labor. Forced to do slave labor. Here we go.
You refused to accept responsibility throughout the trial and still here today, which makes my job a lot easier. And instead of apologizing to them,
Savage, hi, George.
Because you never have said you're sorry.
George, I will be done before you're live. I promise you, I'll be done because I'm waiting for your live. Hi, my Savage.
But what you did do was put on one of the most reprehensible, narcissistic defenses that I have ever seen in my years of trial work. And may God have mercy on your souls, because this court will not.
She said, may God have mercy on your souls, because this court will not.
Please stand.
Please stand.
Blistering words from Judge Mary Claire Akers as Jeannie Whitefeather and Donald Lance were sentenced to decades in prison today, answering to their historic convictions last month of human trafficking and forced labor.
Now, this was a case that stemmed from the October 2023 discovery of 2 teens locked in a shed in Sissonville and revealed years of abuse and neglect of 4 of their adopted Black children. Whitefeather was sentenced to a maximum of 215 years for human trafficking, forced child labor, civil rights violations, and child abuse and neglect. Her husband, Lance, was sentenced to 160 years max for similar charges. He was found not guilty on the civil rights violations for human trafficking, forced child adopted Black children. Whitefeather was sentenced to a maximum of 215 years.
250 years. That means, bitch, when you die, we're going to charge you with escape and then bring you back. Okay? You're leaving there in a body bag. That's it.
for human trafficking, forced child labor, civil rights violations, and child abuse and neglect. Her husband, Lance, was sentenced to 160 years max for similar charges. He was found not guilty on the civil rights violations and had fewer child abuse charges than Whitefeather. This was the first time in state history that human trafficking charges were ever brought on the state level.
Prosecutors were able to prove to a jury that Whitefeather and Lance brought 5 adopted black children to Sissonville in May of 2023 from Washington State, made them do manual labor, and neglected and abused them with physical punishment and a lack of basic necessities. This all while receiving adoption payments from
a jug of water and peanut butter sandwiches. That's it. Okay.
State of Minnesota. Kanawha County prosecutors holding a press conference this afternoon after securing the max sentence they were seeking.
I am so grateful for the opportunity to work with the children in this case. They are so wonderful, so smart, so funny. They are going to do amazing things in this world, and I'm so grateful to be a part of getting some semblance of justice for them after they...
Whitefeather and Lance have also been ordered to pay $280,000 each in restitution to the children.
And when Judge Mary Claire Akers handed down the sentence, it came with scathing remarks as she blasted Whitefeather and Lance for their treatment of the children and their inability to take responsibility.
So they thought by going to West Virginia that they would be allowed to treat these black kids as slaves. That's what they assumed, not realizing that their white neighbors were not going to have that. So you picked the wrong city and the wrong county, okay? You wanted a rural area where the kids wouldn't be seen, where you can work them like dogs and slaves. But not in that part of West Virginia. You got the wrong place. Hi, Claudia.
And Anna Saunders, she joins us live now. And Anna, I mean, you were in that courtroom. What was it like when she handed down that sentence?
Well, Peyton, Gina, scathing is the right word for it. And it wasn't just Judge Akers who made her feelings known. The children victims in this case were there and faced Whitefeather and Lance. Once again, the oldest teen girl looked at Whitefeather and said, "I want you to know that you are a monster."
You brought these children to West Virginia, a place that I know is almost heaven, and you put them in hell. This court will now put you in yours. And may God have mercy on your souls, because this court will not. Please stand.
After presiding over 3 weeks of their trial, Judge Mary Claire Akers did not hold back when she had her chance to address Jeannie Whitefeather and Donald Lance before handing down the maximum sentence possible on all of their 31 counts.
If you look at her, she has no remorse. Neither one of them. It's like to her, she did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. She said West Virginia that part is like heaven, but you brought them there and you put them in hell. So she's going to send them to their hell.
But before she did that, the kids in this case, the 4 victims and even the 5th child who was considered the favorite, all gave impact statements, both spoken and by letter.
And while they don't bear physical scars.
Did you notice the plastic on the floor in case they peed on themselves? Did you notice there was plastic on the floor?
All gave impact statements, both spoken and by letter.
And while they don't bear physical scars, it is exactly right what said and the state said, that they will bear the psychological scars of what was done to them by you, Jeannie Whitefeather, and you, Donald Lance, for the rest of their lives.
The children, who we did not film, all detailed the years of abuse and labor and what impact it has had on them today, both psychologically and emotionally. The oldest teen girl even asked the judge if Whitefeather and Lance could be forced to stand with their hands on their heads throughout the hearing, similar to how Whitefeather and Lance would have the kids stand all day when they lived in Sissonville. The judge denied that request, noting the irony that it would be considered cruel and unusual for her to ask the defendants to do that in court, even though it was done to the kids in their home. Judge Akers instead opted to keep the pictures of them up as they spoke.
They all said today that they're still afraid of what will happen to them if they upset someone.
The kids all talked about how their lives are better now, but they will never be the same. At one point, the teen girl looked at Whitefeather and said, "You are the actual definition of a monster," and said that they were not just physically abused, but full out tortured. When given the chance to address the court, typically a time for apologies, Lance only said that he loved the children. Whitefeather said that she'd made mistakes, but never did anything to intentionally hurt them.
And instead of apologizing today, because you never have said you're sorry, even though, Miss Whitefeather, you say you made some mistakes, but you're not sorry for them.
Nope.
And Mr. Lance, I didn't hear you apologize either.
I think she's naked under her robe. I think she's naked under that robe, guys. I've been looking at this. I think she's naked under that robe. That's what I think.
But what you did do was put on one of the most reprehensible, narcissistic defenses that I have ever seen in my years of trial work.
Defense attorney Mark Plants, who represents Whitefeather, said throughout the trial and even now she still denies any criminal responsibility.
My client's side of the story hasn't changed. It really has
Your
been.
Your client is a monster.
That they did the best they could under the circumstances and they didn't intentionally harm anybody.
You didn't intentionally. You had kids locked in an outbuilding. You had kids standing all day. You fed them, gave them a jug of water, which is more than the guy in Waterbury received, and peanut butter sandwiches. Are you kidding me? They slept on it. One of them, the teenage girl, slept on an air mattress that was so thin. The other 14-year-old had a fitted sheet and had cardboard for a pillow. Would you treat your fucking kids like that? Would you allow your nieces and nephews to be treated like that? Hate this people when they say shit like that.
So I'm not surprised that they spoke their hearts, even though a lot of people disagree with it.
I know what they have to say.
That's their story, and that's what they've told.
The children also thanked everyone who got them out of their situation. The neighbors, the deputies, the prosecutors, and now the judge. Judge Akers, in her remarks, also commending the Sissonville neighbors who repeatedly reported Whitefeather.
Look at him carrying jugs of water. Look, 14.
They're in Lance and Sissonville for months before their arrests. She called that the one good thing in this case.
But the good in this is the people that took action here in the state of West Virginia. The good in this is that now these children are West Virginia's children and not your children.
Now, both Whitefeather and Lance brought forward motions for new trials today. Those were denied. Whitefeather's attorney Mark Plants did indicate today that they will be appealing their convictions. Live in the studio, Anna Saunders, Eyewitness.
Yeah, so these are the kids that were in West Virginia that were adopted by Whitefeather and Lance in 2018. They were adopted in Minnesota. They moved to Washington State, and Washington State wasn't going to have it either. So then they moved to West Virginia, where the neighbors turned their ass in. That's where. True Crime, I'm going to call you later today because I'm not going to try to contact Chalice's dad again. He is all over the board with stuff, and I just need him to concentrate. So I'm going to go another route, probably with the best friend, so we can get this out. And because he sends me stuff that just don't make any sense. So anyway, that's what happened with these young kids, okay? It's very sad in this day and age when you have kids that are in foster care that need to be adopted. And that's what I was speaking about, Lori Jones. Your daughter is in the system. Your daughter is in the system. You have no idea what that young girl, who I think she's 13 or 14, you have no idea what she's going through. You don't have a care in the world. No, once they're adopted, they don't. If they're in foster care, it's something different. And I found that out when I was doing the Orrin and Orson West case. So, no, they don't. Once they're adopted, no. If they're just foster kids, yes, they follow up on all of that. But once those kids are adopted, they're out of the system. So that's what my issue is right now with Lori Jones. At least Lisa's kids are with family. Well, the two oldest are older now, but the two youngest, they're with family, their paternal grandparents. Lori has no idea what's going on with her daughter. Who's to say that young girl won't run away? Who's to say that young girl is not being abused in that place where she's at? She's already stayed out to 2 o'clock in the morning at the age of 13, 14, whatever she is. She already has a mind that she's a grown-ass woman because her mother didn't parent her correctly. Who knows what she's doing and what's being done to her in this group home? Who knows? But she doesn't have a care in the world about her own daughter. She sits on TikTok all day long. Yesterday, she had the nerve to go live to ask for $20 for a meal because she wasn't getting her food stamps until today. When she's ordering frappes and DoorDash all month long, 2-3 times a day. This is the same woman that asked for $1.25 for toilet paper to wipe her ass. Yesterday, she got packages. I guess some resources sent her dog food. They sent her sugar and flour and coffee creamer and coffee, I think. But it was a lot of stuff for the dogs. If you cannot afford these dogs that you have, you shouldn't have them. You walk them without a leash. The leash is on them. They're just running around. Hi, Jane Lee. Welcome. Nice to see you. We hear such horrible stories. Emily Pike could be one. And if Lori took the time to actually look into what happened to Emily Pike instead of just screaming out her name, not knowing what the fuck she's talking about, you would know your daughter is in a group home. And this can be happening to her. She can run away. She can disappear. Then what are you going to do? Sit on TikTok begging and crying because you need to get a private investigator? Hi, my Ann. Welcome. Welcome, Ann. Hi, sister. This is crazy. It's crazy. The fact that you sit there and you laugh and the placenta and the this and girl, stop. Do something to get your child back. You're not doing anything. You've court like next month. Lisa was on live crying about everybody else got 15 months. They told me I was going to have 15 months in the time they took that young man. You didn't do anything to get better. I listened to Lady Red's live she did last night. I'm going to drop her link. You guys need to go listen. You hear her trying to rip off the drug dealer. You hear her giving pills to her son, Cole Jr. She hasn't done anything in that time to get her son back. Now you're crying because they permanently took your parental rights. Did you ever stop to think that your son, after you've missed every visit, every court date, every appointment, have you ever stopped to think your son did not want to see you? You're always cracked up or drugged up with your K-pens. Nobody wants a mother like that. He loves you. But he doesn't want to be around you. That child lived in squalor. Cat shit, dog piss, cat piss. Never cleaned it up. Hi, Crafting with Amanda. And you're wondering why the judge moved to terminate your rights. In the last 10 months, you have done nothing. Nothing to try to get your child back. Now, we have a little update on Brian Kohberger, and I'm going to drop the link so you can watch it all. We're just going to talk about that knife. Hi, jet lag. You too, sweetie. You too. The whole situation here is the fact that these people need to stop blaming TikTok. Stop blaming YouTube. Your business wouldn't be out on TikTok or YouTube if you didn't put it out there. You put your business out there. Lisa was saying yesterday there's something going on, and I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm sure in a couple of days. Well, since you said it, of course people are going to go look. Because you want it out. You want sympathy. You want people to feel this empathy for you. But honey, I have none. Your parents are getting ready to be evicted. You can't go with them. Where are you going? Your brother's going to his friends. We have an overgrown oof that sits in a house and plays games all day. He doesn't work. We got one sister that scammed people on TikTok for damn near $4,000. You have one sister that want nothing to do with any of them, and that's the best sister, I think. Okay? I started talking about it yesterday, but I was towards the end of my stream. So I think I'm going to do Stephen Stearns. I got to listen, take my notes and everything, and really pay attention. So I am, because they were in court for motions, because he doesn't want his stuff televised. He want to have it privately. So I'm going to go through Savage and take my notes and stuff on it, and then play, different parts that I want to play, because I'm not playing 40-something minutes of that at all. At all. It's just a lot of talking with the lawyers and stuff. Good morning, Party Rock. So, but Karen Reed, I'm waiting for you on that one. I watched that documentary, 3 times already? 3 times already. So yes, I will be covering Stephen Stearns. I definitely will be covering him. But Brian Kohberger, for the last 2 years, there's been a gag order. So stuff that's coming out is little to none, really. But there were new documents. Let me see. Party Rock only gets 1 heart because she's trying to steal Cat Williams. Jesus Christ. But, Savage, did you see that Big U turned himself in? And he did a video on his way to turn himself in on RICO charges? Girl, I was like, okay, here we go. Another RICO charge. But they've been following him and getting evidence on him for quite some time. So I want to get to the Brian Kohberger stuff. And I think I have it at the right place. Hold on. Let me get here. But Party Rock, I need you to give me some ideas of what group homes in Arizona could Emily Pike have been at. Because they're not giving out all the information. Okay, here we go.
For almost everything. And I stress the word almost. We now know a lot about Kohberger's so-called click history at Amazon. Yesterday, I told you that he bought a K-bar knife, identical to the murder weapon, 8 months before the university students were murdered. He also bought a K-bar knife sheath, identical to the one that was left behind at the crime scene.
Girl, who knows? Watch your crazy.
For good measure, he bought a knife sharpener. According to the prosecutors.
Oh, before I say that, Arkansas. I went into Arkansas live last night. I had so much fun when I went over to Arkansas live. She had her 4,000 celebration. I'm going to do mine. I have went over 4,000 subs. I think it's been like 2 weeks, but I honestly didn't notice it until someone pointed it out to me. I'm serious. I didn't even notice. So I am going to do a 4,000 celebration. I just don't know when and how. But I am officially over 4,000 and it's been holding steady. I think I'm at 429, 4,030, something like that. I have to take a look.
List of Amazon purchases. But now we know
Mesa.
He was looking to buy something else, a so-called replacement K-bar knife and sheath. And this was after the murders happened. Remember, the killer made that critical mistake and left the knife sheath next to the bodies of Kaylee Gonzalez and Maddie Mogan. The murder weapon has never been found, so it stands to reason that the killer might need a replacement for both the knife and the sheath.
Yeah, I met some nice people
if anyone
over
ever
there.
came around asking. And of course, someone came around asking Brian Kohberger. By the way, we also got to see the selfie that Brian Kohberger himself snapped in what appears to be his bathroom, a bathroom.
Now, let's remember, Brian Kohberger was on Reddit. He was asking questions about, when you committed the murder, and he was in a criminal thing. He's asking, how did you dispose of the weapon? Did you have targeted people or were they just random? All of his Reddit stuff is going to be presented at court. He was on a Reddit page looking for how to get away with murder.
But we know this, that picture with the shower behind him
Party Rock,
was taken just 6 hours after the murders and an hour and a half before 911 was even called. He is smiling. He's giving a thumbs up about something. Seemingly does not have a care in the world and looks pretty proud of, again, something. This was taken after tracking shows that Kohberger's cell phone visited the King Road area twice just that morning.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Traveling from his student apartment across the state line in Washington. And with all of this new information, we have a new theory about why he might have felt compelled to go back to the murder scene in the morning, if indeed he's the murderer. I'm joined again by NewsNation's senior national correspondent, Brian Enton, who's been going through these documents. Boy, we didn't sleep much last night going through these documents. No. We're on FaceTime, just finding one thing after another. So let's talk about first this replacement knife and sheath.
Both is my best friend.
I actually missed the first time around. When I saw that he bought the knife and the sheath and the sharpener 8 months before the murders, it was a eureka moment. But then came in the footnotes this replacement knife and sheath. So walk me through your thoughts about that.
Why would you need a replacement?
Yeah, I mean, this was kind of buried. It was like hundreds.
Why would you need a replacement knife and sheath? You know why? Because he left that sheath there by accident. So if anybody came around looking for it, he's going to say, oh, no, this is mine right here. Forgets that leather wears. Okay? Forget all of that. He ordered a replacement.
Pages of documents, and you mentioned that we were going through them till like 1 a.m. together. And I was also so struck by the fact that he bought the knife and the sheath, according to prosecutors, that I missed this one little teeny line in one of the state documents until I found it in the middle of the night, which is really, really interesting. They say that after the murders, so he bought the knife and the sheath before the murders, they say, but after the murders, they went through his click history on his Amazon account and that he was searching for a knife and sheath, which is very, very interesting when you think about why, perhaps. Did he suddenly realize that, he realized that he left the knife at the scene and wanted to have a knife in case police came knocking on the door and said, where's the knife? So that's one possible reason, but
left the sheath
really an interesting piece
at the
of information.
Scene, right? Like left the sheath at the scene and then disposed of the murder weapon somewhere. It's never been found. We presume that if he's the killer, he took an hour to get back home, what would have been a 10-minute drive. So maybe circled somewhere far and wide and disposed of that knife. And then here's the other thing. Don't know when or if he knew, oh, dear God, I don't have the sheath. So let's talk about that next morning, because at like 9 in the morning, the cops don't know yet. The roommates don't know yet. 911 hasn't been called yet for hours. His Elantra is driving by the house again.
Yep.
Now, they've got the...
Now, is that a coincidence? Honestly, would that be a coincidence when your car was peeing? Well, they caught you on with your phone, and then you turned it off when you got close to the house, and then you're back there the next day. You're returning to the scene of the crime.
Surveillance video that shows him back near the house near 9:32 a.m., which makes you wonder what was going on there. Did he realize at that point that he had left the sheath behind and was perhaps going back and considering trying to get it again? Was he just going back to gawk and sort of, you know, you hear about when people set a fire, an arsonist, and they want to go like kind of see the place burn. We don't know why he went back, but the selfie that you showed again in the intro, which is like so creepy to look at with the thumbs up and the shower in the background and like the kind of smirk, there it is. The selfie was taken at 10:31 a.m. So it's all very close together. He went back to the apartment or to the house, according to prosecutors, around 9:32, and then took the selfie an hour later at 10:31.
Which again, if he's the killer and the killings happened between 4 and 4:30 and he didn't get home till 5:30, you think that would be the first shower, right? If you're covered in that evidence. And so this looks like a fresh shower. And again, this is at 10:30. So this is, 5 hours after he would have returned home from the murders. Again, if he's the killer. So now I want to bring in another piece that is tied to all of this, because as we're trying to figure out, if he's the killer, was he going back to the house in the morning gawking and looking for action, or was he going back to find the knife sheath that perhaps he realized, dear God, I've dropped a critical piece of evidence?
But why would he go back if he didn't kill everybody in the house? That's another question. You know you didn't kill everybody was there because you walked by one girl when she was standing in her door. And you just went out the back, and you went out the house. So why would he try to get back in the house? That's why I have an issue with too.
And that's now where I'm sticking, because there's some more evidence that came out in these documents that will take you there, and I'll explain it. So the state apparently did test runs through this house, parking a car, walking from where the killer's car would have been to the door, entering the house, going up the stairs, pretending, to have killed 2 people, coming down the stairs, down the hall, killing 2 other people, and then making your way out of the house and back to the vehicle. And the key words that are used in the test run is taking off the bloody clothes and then driving away. First of all, I can't believe they did these tests, and they determined it is possible. It is possible to do all that in a very short amount of time. But taking those bloody clothes off, it made me wonder, if Kohberger's the killer and he was taking off those bloody clothes and didn't see in the darkness that the knife sheath, might have gone off with the clothing, perhaps that's why he came back and spent 9 minutes at that house looking at the place where perhaps he had taken those clothes off the night before.
It's possible, or maybe he left some of the bloody clothes out, or he was worried that he left something behind, if they think that maybe he was trying to change right out there outside the house next to the car or on the side of the house. Maybe he was looking for something outside the house. Maybe he was considering going back in to look for the sheath. But it's so interesting, because when I was outside the house for all that time after the murders, there were weird things happening with the prosecutors and the police and the investigators and all.
I wanted to stop. When he took that selfie, we didn't see any marks on his face or his hands or anything. So, and that's exactly, why did they demolish that house so quick? Yes, they demolished the house. Why would you demolish that house so quick and you haven't even had the trial yet? Why would you demolish that home? It's gone. The house is gone. You see that? It's well,
testing that they were doing, and there were just weird movements that they would do, walking to the door, going to the road. And I remember wondering what they were doing. And now that all these documents are coming out, it really sort of explains some of it. And I think some of what we saw were the test runs. They were trying to time it out and figure out how long it could have taken him. Because that's been one of the big perplexing things about the case is like, how did you go to bedroom, stab all of those young kids and manage to get away and no one see a thing?
Right, and of course the reason we ask that is because they say there's no blood in the car, so how would that terrible bloody scene have not transferred into the car? Did he take off?
Same thing with OJ. See what I'm saying? Same thing with OJ. You did all of these stabbings. You sliced this woman's throat till it was hanging on by a little thread. But you had a drop of blood on the steering wheel and a drop of blood on the outside the door. No, honey, that does not work for me. Does not work. Does not work. Where are the bloody clothes? Did he bring a change of clothes? He didn't drive home naked. Where are the clothes?
Meaning the killer take off all the bloody clothes before getting in that vehicle in the darkness right there beside the house. So it's fascinating because we couldn't see inside the house. They pulled all the blinds. But when they came in and out of the house, we didn't know what they were doing when they were inside. And now, of course, we can't know because they tore the house down. So another massive detail, I think, to drop last night. I'd never seen this anywhere, and it was one mention. It didn't repeat itself anywhere in the other documents I saw, and that is that Dylan said she was 3 feet away from the killer. Yep. And I just stretched my arm out because I still cannot believe that this is how far roughly 3 feet is.
He walked right by her.
And not only that, she saw him holding something.
Yeah, there was some interesting new nuggets involving Dylan because they actually included the verbatim statements that she made to police officers when she was talking to them about what she saw. And she said that she saw the person in the house holding something. She did not give more specifics than that, but she said holding something. And something else that struck me, Ashley, I don't know if you noticed
Dylan's
this.
had a baby.
She talked about how she had seen the picture of Brian Kohberger. She had seen him in the vest, and I'm assuming she's talking about the moment where he was in that bulletproof vest when we were out there and they pulled him off the plane when they brought him back to Pennsylvania. She must have been watching the news, and they asked her during this interview, well, does that look like the person that you saw? And she said, I have no clue. So she wasn't able to make that connection, but she did go back several times to the bushy eyebrows, which again, I think is why that selfie, that creepy selfie picture is so important. That's why the prosecution is keying in on that. They want to show that picture to the jury and say, you know, do you think these are bushy eyebrows? This is the last photo of him taken after the murders.
And just, you know, 5-6 hours after the murders, you can't have changed the eyebrows much in that short period of time. This is what the man looked like if this is him. I did find it very interesting in these documents to see that Dylan Mortensen interviewed 5 times with police and once in front of the grand jury. And never did she waver from, I saw bushy eyebrows, maybe one eyebrow, but bushy eyebrows is everything I remember. Yep. Can't tell you about the eyes. Can't tell you about much else. Yes, I was drunk. Yes, it was scary. Yep, but 5 different times from the moment they were in the parking lot out front of the house that morning, all the way through to the grand jury, her story never changed. 5 times with cops, once with the grand jury.
They were all drunk. That's why they didn't fight back. They were drunk. They had been partying. They were high. They didn't fight back.
I think that's super, super powerful. Then Ann Taylor, the defense attorney, comes along and drops a massive document. I've got it here, actually. I've got the bushy eyebrows here, and then I've got the other one. That's the neuropsychological and psychiatric evidence motion. And I read through that as well. And she brings up 3 neuropsychological conditions of Brian Kohberger. She says he's got developmental coordination disorder, DCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, and then autism spectrum disorder, which is ASD. The significance of all of these are
Lady
huge.
Red.
She's explaining away a lot of the bad facts. So walk me through those.
Yeah, this was so fascinating to me because I wondered why she was suddenly having him tested and talking about him being on.
He was just tested. Somebody asked, when did he get diagnosed with autism? Well, now you know. They're trying everything.
The autism spectrum and what that was going to have to do with anything, why this was becoming such a big component of things. And this explains it. She is trying to explain away some of the evidence connecting his disorders to why he may have done what he did, like developmental coordination disorder, impacts fine motor dexterity and visual motor function, couldn't have possibly killed 4 people and escaped that quickly because of the DCD, the developmental coordination disorder. The obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, remember all the talk about him wearing gloves that night and he was trying to cover, fingerprints and evidence. She's saying no, he was just wearing the gloves because he doesn't like germs, that he was double bagging because of the OCD, the garbage bags. Remember the shower curtain missing from the bathroom, that he doesn't like shower curtains because of contaminants.
Well, his own family stated that you have to cook. You can't reuse pots. You have to have new pots to cook his food. They also stated that he is weird and nobody in the family really wants him around. And then we still never found out about the lady that was Cade that was close to his family, because they were looking at him for that as well. But they said that, he can't use the same soap. Everything has to be new. If you're going to cook something for him, it has to be something new. He cannot have food cooked in a pot that was used before for something else. The whole family thinks he's a weirdo.
Of getting in his eyes, that he has sleep issues. That's why he goes up in the middle of the night driving around. And then the autism spectrum disorder, that's why she says he doesn't show emotion on his face, has a piercing stare, does not show expected reactions.
Did she explain why was he on Reddit trying to get how to get away with murder thing? I mean, has she explained that one yet? No, I don't think so. She hasn't.
Stiff body posture, little to no eye contact. So now we know why she wants to bring all of these disorders in. She's trying to tell the jury, she's going to try to tell the jury, hey, ignore all of this evidence because this can be explained away by these medical conditions.
Well, the one that stuck out the most to me there was his obsessive compulsive disorder. Means he has sleep issues and drives around in the middle of the night. So if stargazing wasn't good enough, they've now come up with a different reason for why he'd be out on a very cloudy night. I checked the weather. Completely overcast night, stargazing. Now it's going to be, I have OCD, so I drive around at night. I'll be interested to see if his cell data shows that he drives around at night with his phone off any other night than the murder.
That's what I said too, girl. I said the same thing. Let's see how many nights he's driven around. Let's find out how often does he do this. Because if there's a pattern, well, okay, maybe so. But I doubt it seriously.
Night. So great job. You got to get some sleep. That was a long night and really good work. So thank you, Brian. I really appreciate it.
And they're trying everything possible.
Okay, I want to bring in my friend Mark Aragos now. He's a criminal defense attorney.
Oh, Mark, stop. Let me see. Autistic people absolutely show emotion. So I'm tired of people using this as some type of creepy excuse. It's just another way of communicating that autistic people use. That's true. They communicate differently. That's true. That is so true. One of my really good friends, her son, is autistic. There is no evidence that autism leads to, nope, none of that either. None of that either. Andrea is, she teaches, she has a couple of autistic kids in her class, and she says the same thing. So they're trying to use this as an excuse. But what about this grown-ass man on Reddit? Look, hi, Amber, looking for how to get away with murder. How about that? How about that? Did you pick out your victims? Was your victim random? I will stand by what I said. The one that received the most, hi, Texas girl, good morning. Welcome in. Good morning. The one that received the most brutal attack is, forgot her name. Is it Ryan? The really pretty one. I think he targeted her. I think he was trying to talk to her at a couple of occasions. She rebuffed him. She laughed at him. I think he targeted her. The fact that her friend was laying in the bed with her was just, that was an added bonus. He wanted her. He actually did the most damage to her. They probably ran into each other that night. She did the same thing. She probably laughed at him. Who would want to talk to him? And his ego couldn't take it. So, okay, you're my target. He probably watched them. They were drunk. They got home. He waited until he thought they were asleep, and he went in and did what he did. I'm a prosecutor now. That's what he did.
And now he's the co-host of two very popular podcasts, Reasonable Doubt and Two Angry Men. Mark Geragos, since you are the biggest expert I know in famous trials, I wanted to call you about all of these new details that have come out. What do you think about this massive document?
Look at him. Who's going to want to talk to him? Who? Not her.
If I'm not mistaken, you and I talked about a while ago, as you said, it's been quite a time period of wandering around in the wilderness. But I think we talked about the fact that if they had a receipt for this knife or this sheath, obviously they didn't find the knife, sometime prior, that would be, as you call it, a bad fact. The one after, the searching after, the way it was phrased and the way it was buried leads me to believe it's not as significant as the purchase before. And why do I say that? I've had cases where prosecutors will argue that somebody went looking for a particular item on the internet, and then when you drill down into it, it turns out that it was just one in a stream of thousands of things that the browser does. So the one after doesn't really give me...
You know what? This lady that's sitting right next to him, I'm sure every time she leaves him, she goes home and takes a shower. This man gives me the creeps just looking at him on screen. Have you ever seen somebody that gives you the creeps? I told you at this job I was at, this one guy was in IT. Every time I would go in that room, there would be 2 or 3 people in there. I wouldn't turn my back on him. He gave me the creeps. One day I was like, my God, I haven't seen him around. Well, come to find out, they said, Heidi, come here. Don't say anything. He was arrested for child molestation. I said it before. I said, I can see him as a P3DO. And I'm saying, he gave me the fucking willies every time I was in that room. I hated going in that IT room.
Doesn't really do much. If they can tie the sheath or the same kind prior to this,
serial killer.
That's definitely going to be front and center of their opening statement and the trial for the prosecution and the defense. Going to have some explanation.
So this is what's going on with Brian
I would
Kohberger.
also say I did not see.
And as I said, there is, there's little or no anything coming out of it. They're getting all the motions that are being put through the court system right now. There's a gag order. I'm telling y'all, think I'm so serious. And when I found out it was a family member and not just one, he gave me the willies. It was like I had my back to him one time, and I'm not saying he was going to do anything to me. It was just the vibe that I got off of him. And I said it to a couple of people in that office. They were like, oh my God, Heidi, don't say. I said, I'm serious. There's something going on with this guy. Sure enough, essay of a child, family members, and they kept it hush hush. I was like, shit, I was right. It's sad that It's just really, really sad. Now, I wanted to show you about the shooter yesterday. I thought I had it. They arrested the shooter that went on a rampage at this hospital. All of a sudden now, we're getting shootings at hospitals. We're getting shootings at hospitals. They're talking to the neighbors. They caught him. And of course, he's such a nice guy. He's such a nice guy. Nobody would have thought that anything like this would happen. Nobody.
Sean, what was your background, you said?
I spent 25 years in the military. I recently retired in 2021, so I've been out just a few years now.
Okay, and so you're a neighbor to the house of the suspect where the suspect was arrested?
Yeah, I'm about 5 houses away, so not too far in a neighborhood this size.
Do you know who the suspect is? Like, have you seen
him
before?
I didn't recognize his picture on social media, so I can't say that I did.
Okay.
No.
And so tell me, you were really impressed with the whole police operation. Explain to me what you saw.
Oh, yeah,
What's
absolutely.
going on in
And thanks for
Detroit?
giving me this opportunity just to talk about law enforcement. So, yeah, my house is about 5 houses away. And just from my perspective from inside the windows, what I saw all the police respond in the patrol cars and come around the area. And then after that, I saw that they set up drones to do that. And then I saw a mobile command center. And then I saw SWAT come in. And then I saw some other personnel coming out with more lethal rifles or sniper rifles. So what that meant to me is they'd found out where they needed to go, and then they were going to do observation or gather some more intel, which they did with their drone team. So to me, that's so important because the guys that you have on the ground, you want to give as much information as you can to let them know where they're going. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I started to see the SWAT team move in. So what that told me is they were able to orchestrate all this technology, bring it in, give their people that are on the ground the best information they could before they went into that house.
This was a shooting at the hospital, and I
really
didn't want to see him.
Mobile command
I wanted
center. When
you
that
to
came
see
in,
the
that told me
takedown.
that, hey, we generally know where this guy's at. We have a pretty high chance of probability that he's here. So now we have to take and be able to synchronize all these units, all these different capabilities coming in together. And that's what we saw happen. So I'm guessing from start to finish, like this was probably, I know it was under an hour. I didn't time it or anything, but to me that's just, it's incredible what these people do on the street. And
this was the scene yesterday. And thank you, but I'm tired of you talking. Okay, so
I believe we have Anna on the phone now. Anna, can you hear me?
Yes.
And where are you at the Troy facility right now?
Well, we're back. I'm not quite sure exactly what room we are, but we were on the mammogram floor.
Mm-hmm. And are you safe? Are you okay?
Yes, we are. Yep. We're just locked in some kind of office room way in the back.
How did you hear about the lockdown and what was going on?
So this is the third shooting?
Well, I was right in the middle of my mammogram.
At a hospital?
And over the intercom, it said active shooter.
59.
So I didn't say anything at first, and the lady just didn't say anything. And then the technician, and then all of a sudden she goes, "Did you hear what I heard?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "I'm going to go check on that because we've been."
Amber, is this Texas? Because that's Interstate 59. Is that Texas? No, that's Detroit. That's Detroit. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut it off. I was looking at the map and I clicked the wrong damn thing. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry. So this is a patient that is actually talking right now.
Been having drills, so that this may be a test. I'm like, okay. So she leaves the room, comes back in, and she's like, "Oh no, this is real. Come with me." So I followed her, and then there was 3 other ladies waiting for their mammogram, and they came with me. Another lady in a wheelchair, she's with us. She doesn't speak English, and we are just sitting here waiting. We don't know what's happening.
Now you don't want to
What
go
were
to
your
a damn
thoughts
hospital.
when you heard that announcement over the intercom? What did you think?
Well, I was at first, she didn't react or anything. I thought maybe they were having a drill, but then I said, no, this has this is weird, because why would it just say that? Usually it would like alert you that you're going to have a drill first. So I tried to stay calm, but I felt like I was in a safe area because I know that you have to have a badge, you have to have a code or something to get into these back rooms. So I was just praying at that point that we were going to be safe.
So you are in a safe spot. You're in, what kind of room is it? Where are you?
It almost looks like a conference room, has just a table with some chairs and a couple computers.
I'm sorry. The last shooting I can remember before these three was the guy that went to the hospital. He was a psychiatric patient. He had a crush on the doctor. The doctor didn't want, and he shot the doctor, not the caseworker, and he was held up in there for the longest. And it was a Jewish guy. I can't remember his name. And then like 2 weeks later, somebody went and shot up a synagogue. I'm going to find those stories. That was the last major thing I heard about as far as hospital shootings until these last three. Well, one was a shooting. The other one was a stabbing. No, 3 shootings and a stabbing at a hospital.
Computers.
And you may not know the facility that well, but do you know roughly how far you might be from the radiology department?
We're by the parking structure, Area B.
Okay.
Damn.
Obviously, this is a situation no one ever expects to be in. It is just terrifying. How are you doing right now?
But they still didn't say why.
I'm doing pretty good. These ladies I'm with we're trying to keep everybody, we kind of made a joke out of it because we're sitting all in our gowns. So we're not joking about the situation, but we're trying to keep everybody, so we're not,
So wasn't an employee, Bambi?
Yeah, it was certainly understandable trying to cope with the stress of that. No, Anna, have you talked to your family, the people who love you? Have you been in touch with them?
Yes, I've talked to everybody, and they're just, they're worried too, but I'm assuring them that we feel safe back here because I feel like there's door after door after door with codes that we had to go through, so I feel like we're in a safe area.
That is good to hear. Absolutely. And I'm sure your family was so relieved to hear from you. And your story is one that's being played out countless times inside the hospital because other people are barricaded as well. I'm glad to hear that you had to go through multiple security swipes to get to where you are. So we feel like you're in a safe place. Have you heard anything after that first initial message where it said over the intercom, active shooter? Have you heard any other alerts or noise or anything?
No, somebody did come in one time asking if there was any diabetics and if we needed anything to eat, and that was it. Nothing else since.
And Anna, would you say, does it sound like you might be on the 6th floor? Does that sound right to you?
We're on the first floor.
You're on the very first floor. Okay.
Yeah.
Terrific. I know they have mammogram services higher in the building there as well, but being on the first floor, of course, has its own concerns for you as well. You mentioned that there are about 4 other patients there with you. One person in a wheelchair who doesn't speak English, 3 other women who are waiting for their mammograms. Are there employees there in the room with you as well?
Everybody that wasn't here when I first started, that's the one you need to see. That has the body cam footage and everything. We discussed Janine Whitefeather and her husband, Donald Lance. Janine received 250 years. He received 160 years for the adoption of the 5 kids that they kept as slaves. These people were disgusting. Again, they adopted the kids in Minnesota, moved them to Washington State. Then they moved them to West Virginia, where they were made to do manual labor. They were standing in rooms hours at a time, days at a time, with their hand on their head. The only thing she fed a couple of the kids, she would give them a peanut butter sandwich and a jug of water. Those were the kids that were out in the outbuilding. The judge slapped them. She went at them. You die, you're coming back, and we're going to put you right back in the cell. So the maximum is 250 years for her, 160 years for him. I think they deserve every bit of it. Now, I was looking to see if there was an update on the little boy that drowned, the 2-year-old that wandered away from his family, and he was found in a pond. He was outside by himself. I was looking for an update to see if charges were going there. The lady that kids died from carbon monoxide in the casino parking lot in Detroit, they were looking in to see if they were going to do charges for her. Haven't seen an update on that, but I feel if they're going to charge her, they need to charge the other mother that endangered her child. That was child neglect. That was, yeah, they are disgusting. And that judge threw the book at them. There was a little boy that drowned in Florida yesterday. It was a boating accident. Well, not boating accident. He jumped off the boat to swim. Currents started coming in. He lost his life. But I'm looking at these cases now. The mother that left her kids in squalor, she hasn't gone back into court yet, but she is being held on $250 million bond. There was a lot of stuff going on with the young man in Waterbury, Connecticut. And all of these people are now coming out the woodworks to discuss this young man. And I don't understand why all of a sudden, I guess it came to the news. It came to the news, got it. But what the hell? What the hell? Everybody, we look for him, we look for him, we look for him. How hard did you look? Now, there was an interview by a former classmate of the mother, and I'm going to show, with the stepmom, I'm going to show you that real quick, and then I'm going to get out of here. Don't forget, George is going to go live at 8:30, and it's just sad. And we don't know how many, and then the two young men, the twins that they're saying committed murder-suicide on top of a Georgia mountain, but their family is saying they never went there. I think it's Blue Mountain. They were due to catch a flight from Georgia to Boston, and they never made the flight. But they're saying it's murder-suicide. The autopsies were done, but the coroner is not saying if there was any gun residue on either one of them on either one of them. So waiting for that as well. But let's listen to this, and then I'm gonna go.
Inboxing each other like, wait a minute, isn't that Kim? Isn't that for? And sure enough, it's Kim from.
More reaction to the story of the local man who told police he was held captive by his stepmom for more than 20 years.
Family, friends, and even acquaintances are coming forward and sharing their stories, including one former classmate of the stepmom, Kimberly Sullivan.
Fox 61's Jamel Johnson talked to that woman who says she and other friends couldn't believe their classmate is tied to one of Waterbury's most infamous cases.
And it's infamous. My question to you, anybody that's here, the mother has been charged. She was released. She got out on $5,000 bail. There were twin daughters that lived in that home. To me, they are complicit. The dad died. He was in a wheelchair. The mother, for some reason, gave him up to the dad because she couldn't take care of him. The other sister, his stepsister, she was in foster care. She has been looking for him for like 10 years, she said, and there was nothing. So the mother doesn't want her, don't want her name out there, but we have the sister's name, and that's easy to find the mother's name. Again, you knew where this man lived. Did anybody ever go to that house to see what was going on?
Carol Griffin says the last time she remembers seeing Kimberly Sullivan was in 1986. That was at Wilby High School.
Oh my God, those pants and that belt do not go together.
Inboxing each other like, wait a minute, isn't that Kim? Isn't that for? And sure enough, it's Kim.
That's what Griffin describes the moment she and her classmates saw Sullivan on the news.
I was shocked to hear the story.
Griffin was just 16 years old at the time she last knew Sullivan.
Years after myself.
Fast forward to February
Anything to get on the
17th,
news.
Sullivan's stepson escaped from the home he says she held him captive for decades.
Who else is in here?
My stepson is in here.
He told first responders he lit the fire intentionally inside the Blake Street home so he could finally be free. Police say he was just 68 pounds when he was found. The arrest warrant says he had limited access to food and water and was locked in his room for up to 24 hours some days. Griffin says the shocking nature of the crime baffled her.
You have to be an evil entity to do that to a human being, period. How do you, especially your stepchild that you've been trusted with?
As Griffin continues to follow the case of her former classmate, she hopes that the best can come from such a terrifying situation.
He's brave for setting that room on fire because he didn't know what the outcome was going to be. He just hoped that it came as it did, and I'm glad it did for him.
He didn't care.
I hope he makes a full recovery.
Sullivan is currently out on a $300,000 bond, and she's expected back in court next week. We'll be following this case and provide any updates as they come along. In Waterbury, Jamel Johnson.
Jamel, let me tell you about these pants, okay? You see this? That belt is too small to go over the pants. The pants are not zipped up right. You're either gain weight and yeah, Jamel, we have to do better. We could have tucked our shirt a little bit more over so we don't see this part, okay? Hi, Fight Like a Girl. So anyway, that was her. Amber in Texas, girl, I know you both follow Lisa, but Lady Red did a video last night on Lisa that was to the point. I really, really enjoyed it. And this woman went on live yesterday, again, threatening people if they don't send her money. Now, she's been 39, I think, for 3 years now. She has to be around 40, 43, somewhere in that area. But the whole thing is that these people that are still giving her money and that are believing these stories of this woman, and she thinks that she is entitled to get your money, and it is entitlement. She doesn't see it as that, but when you're threatening, and when she said last night that someone owed her money, and if they would just pay her money, she wouldn't have to be on here begging for money. Girl, nobody owes you shit. Nobody owes you nothing. Nothing. Texas girl, that story on that young man, it's just everywhere. 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 Oh my God, there's gunshots at the CIA headquarters now. There are gunshots at the CIA headquarters now. But she went live last night, and I'm serious. I said I was going to get out of here, but I want you guys to hear her entitlement of what she says. Is this the one? Hold on. Let me make sure. Okay. I want you to hear this for yourselves. And you tell me if this woman is not entitled. This is coming from Chantel Gucci's. Hold on. It's coming from Chantel Gucci. And I'm just going to play a little bit of this bullshit with Lisa. Here we go.
Tell you something, I will text you after the live.
Hold on.
This has been a week from HE double hockey.
It's been a week from HEW hockey.
That's okay if you're broke. If you're broke, Miss Tiffany, that's
hold on.
Disney Mimi. I said that the other day, honey. I don't know if he was in here. I said I wouldn't expect him to come home today or anything like that. If I would have bet you $1 million trillion that there's no way that could have ever happened.
Hold on. I'm trying to get to this. Okay, here we go.
For anxiety. K-pens are for anxiety, honey.
Now, she says she's taking K-pens. She lost her prescription months ago. Then she said she wasn't taking them. Now she has them again. But the doctor removed her from the K-pens, according to her. But now she's saying she's going to take them. I just can't with her anymore. I can't with her. I can't. And she makes me so mad. Now, when she turns off the comments is what I want.
And I can't answer no more questions about that because I have a screen recording. Or I can go back to the thing. You don't even have to record,
Turns
honey.
off the comment.
I got screen record, or I can go back and look at the comments. It'll tell me. When I go look in the live thing, yeah, it'll tell me. And then when I go through them, if they say something disgusting,
She's high as
bam,
a kite
blocked.
right now.
Anyways, in the pool, the PayPal is Lisa Boo 23, guys. Lisa Boo 23, like Michael Jordan.
Like Michael Jordan.
Lisa Boo 23, PayPal, friends and family, please. Trying to get $20. When you guys find out, because you're gonna find out, because these people are sick in the fucking head. Okay, they're sick in the fucking head. And no matter what I try to keep private, it never can be kept private.
But she brought it to the internet, telling people that something is going on. Now, if you don't want people to know what's going on, I would have never said it on the internet. But you want people to go out and find it. You can never keep shit to yourself. And she's asking again for food for her and her mother, which is going to make people call Adult Protection Services again, because she's online begging for food for her and her mother.
Because they dig and they dig and they dig. So it's going to come out eventually, but it ain't coming out yet. That's all I'm going to say. So, this week has been like a bad movie script, honestly. I need a new writer. God, whoever's writing my script of my life, I need a new writer, please. This writer is really fucking me off big time, okay?
God gives you free will.
So yeah, in the pool, I got Chime, L, Richard with a 5 at the end, the number 5. PayPal is Lisa Boo, 23, friends and family. The CA, you have to message me for it. And only certain people can get it, so don't waste your time if you're some troll asshole, because you're not going to get it. Ask your idiot friends in the Discord. They couldn't get it. You're not going to get it either.
That's what I want to know. Fight like a girl. Nobody is bullying her. No one. She's lied about not losing her kids. They put it out to show she's a damn liar. She's lied. She's killed her dad twice, her daughter once. She committed a felony by taking all that money for Shadow. That's the one thing she doesn't admit to, but it's all out there. She committed a felony by stealing that money, pretending she's going to get her dog. But everybody's bullying her. Everybody is bullying her. She's calling people sheep because they don't send her money.
Do anything. I don't feel good.
You know, she hasn't
at all. I feel like
1998.
weak and fucking my stomach hurts.
Her stomach hurts.
And now I got stuck with another. I actually forgot about the having to move too. That's gonna be great. That's another thing on top of it.
How did you forget about having to move? You just discussed it last week. Your dad has been evicted. They're moving. According to them, you can't go with them because they're going in a 55 and older place. You can't go. Your brother's going to his friend to lay around on their sofa and play games all day with no job and expects people to feed him. You can't go. Where you going, girl? Where you going?
Stress levels through the fucking roof, honestly.
She forgot Fight Like a Girl.
Yeah, nobody helped again. Nobody helped with $10, $20, $15. I am
every day. Well, if she gets like 40, she's gone for a day.
Everybody behind the scenes that I fucking texted that knows what is actually going on. There's about 2 people that know for a fact what's going on.
So she texted people behind the scenes. If these were your real friends, they would give you that money. If your real friends don't believe you, why should strangers? And she keeps getting these vulnerable women to send her, they feel bad because they lost a child to addiction, or look at this poor girl and the evil comments that are being said to her. She never gets rid of those comments. She wants people to see them. I believe she has a couple of people actually under a fake account putting those comments in her chat.
And all I got all day was pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and lied and pushed and lied and pushed to the point where I missed the clinic.
She missed the clinic. Is everybody
now I'm trying to get something to eat, and I'm still getting lied and pushed. And what's her name? You actually owe me money.
She owes her money.
So you're not giving me shit, actually.
How does that woman owe you money? You didn't do a service for her. You didn't do shit for her. She may have told you she's going to send you some money, but she doesn't owe you shit. You didn't do a job. She doesn't owe you anything. She could have changed her mind.
You actually owe me money. So I'd actually like to get that instead of being on here begging these people for fucking help that don't help. Go ahead. Yeah, you can block them. You can block them, yeah.
You're blocking because you're not giving her money.
So,
threatening people.
Yeah, you owe me money. So I got to figure out what the fuck I got to do to get that. See, I shouldn't have to threaten. I shouldn't have to threaten people for help. I shouldn't have to fucking expose people for help. I shouldn't have to get on my live stream and call you the fuck out because you owe me money. Like, I shouldn't have to do any of that shit.
Anything.
But since I do have to,
no one owes you anything. Nothing. You owed your children a better life, especially after they lost their father. But instead, they're seeing the same patterns. The reason why Big Cole left your ass, because you were always high, always sleeping. So he went to your best friend. Shut up, Lisa. No one owes you anything. I really want to take a flight to Pennsylvania, give her my hotel room number so she can kick my door in. I really want to do that.
Because people don't want to act like normal adults, I will do that. I don't give a fuck. That's it. I'll do it.
Okay.
I have to do certain things because I got to talk in circles and it doesn't. I wish you guys fucking knew, but you don't know. And when you find out, you motherfuckers are so done, dude.
I was just talking about how much fun I had in your live. Guys, I learned about the penis sizes from different continents. I learned all kind of interesting stuff last night, and I really want to appreciate you for educating me, but I still need to know what country was the penis at the 12 o'clock. That's the country I'm moving to. I couldn't see that.
Anybody who didn't help that's in this fucking chat, dude. Anybody who didn't help that I talked to today. Oh, just wait. Just fucking wait, dude. Just fucking wait. 1.1K. Nothing for fucking dinner for me or my family. That's great. Okay, hold on.
And her family. Before it was her and her mother. Now it's her and her family. Her 28-year-old grown-ass brother who sits there and plays games all day. You want people to feed your family. The woman lied and said her son had brain cancer, stage 4. He's had chemo and operations. She has used and manipulated everyone in her family. I can't stand this bitch.
No, you know what, Christina, you're the shit, boo, just because you will help with a couple of dollars here and there, and I respect you and I like you.
I respect you because you give me money. Guys, can you give me money so I can respect you, please? Because I need money in order for me to respect you. The people that don't give her money are pieces of shit. Bitch.
You don't let these fucking people control your mind like the rest of these clowns who are like, oh my God, if I send you money from my own Cash App to your own Cash App or PayPal, I'm going to go to jail?
Girl, nobody said that.
How about common fucking sense?
What was said is, if you send her money and she ODs on that money, you will be talked to, you will be looked at for being complicit when you know this woman is in active addiction. She's in active addiction. And you're still, this one woman sent her money and said in the comments, I hope this helps you OD. Get the fuck out of here.
Fuck would you go to jail for helping me get something to eat or cigarettes or anything?
It's not for food.
Hello. They tell you guys that shit because exactly what you're doing. You don't fucking help, and they sit there and they make gifts off me and they make money off my views and they do all that shit.
Mandy.
And you guys don't fucking help, so they fucking win. These fucking clown ass fucking hating motherfuckers win.
Listen to her.
And yins are scared over nothing.
But yins are scared.
I've been on here for how long? If I was going to jail, you've seen the police come to me how many times? How many times? If I was going to jail, I'd have been in jail.
3 years too long, and you're steady begging. You haven't tried anything in 3 years. Even when they took your son, you still were online begging for your crack, for your thing. You tried to rob your dealer. We heard all about that. You've given your son drugs. Girl, stop. You haven't done anything. Nothing. Nothing.
Okay, trust me, a long time ago. It's not illegal to give somebody fucking help. Okay, let's try common sense around the hate, okay? Let's put hate here, common sense in front of it, okay, guys? Why would we start doing that, okay? Use our thinkers and stop being sheep on this app. Sheep. Because that's what you guys are on here. You are.
Yeah, okay.
If I had $1 for every time I got an email saying,
okay,
I would help you, but I'm afraid you're under investigation. I'm not fucking under investigation, okay, at all.
Yes, you are.
There's nothing that I do that's illegal, okay? If
the cops even called you a vagrant. They called you the begging vagrant on TikTok. We heard the call. Yes, you are. They transferred the call to a detective that's handling your case. Stop lying.
And I could steal cash apps and fucking hack people, I'd have cash apps. I don't have a fucking cash apps. We
heard her say earlier she had cash app, but you had to call her to get it. You hear how she lies? She said you have a cash app. She had a cash app, but you have to text her to get the cash app information.
PayPal, Chime. You got it? I'd have every fucking payment app here. I'd have 5
of them. Heard it? She got every fucking payment app there. She just said she doesn't have Cash App. Liar.
If I could do all that shit, I can't do. And in fact, if I could hack and shit, I'm beyond this motherfucker.
You should get a job.
I'd be hacking and stealing money. But no, we don't think of that. We like to dramatize everything and make it sound so cool, right? Yeah, still nothing. Just keep blocking these motherfuckers, dude. You guys suck. Okay? You have no heart. Cannot wait until all your platforms go the fuck down because I'm off the app. Because so many of you motherfuckers have no content, no personality, and nothing to talk about. You suck ass. Yin's fucking major platforms off of talking about me. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Speaking through them fucking teeth that you still got more missing from when you first came online. Girl, stop.
That's what you made it from, bitch, okay? All of you. So you suck and you're going down. Because give it 2 weeks. When I ain't on this app anymore, you bitches won't have shit to talk about. I wasn't on the app for 4 days. I seen 6 bitches sitting in boxes going...
So if you're not on the app and you don't watch anybody, how do you know 4 bitches were sitting in a box? How do you know that, Lisa? How do you know that? Explain that to us. That's what I want to know. Explain that to us.
For 15 minutes. Because they had nothing to fucking say because I wasn't on the app. Lame.
Is she talking
You wanted me to be on the app? You want to talk about me? Send me fucking money to eat, bitch. If not, you can kiss ass and get the fuck on out of here because ain't happening anymore. No fucking more. And as for my friends that know what's going on, 2 people know what's going on. Two. 2 people. That's all I could tell because you suck. And you all want to fucking try to expose somebody for shit that has nothing to do with anything. Okay, tell me why my custody papers of my kids from 2020 would need to be on this app.
Excuse me, because you lied and said you never lost custody of your kids. And to be honest, they're from 2018, 2019, 2021, and now the youngest will be there as well, because you lied and said you never lost custody of your kids. You lied so people proved that you were lying. You also said that you couldn't get information from family court, which you were proven wrong, because you can get that information. So again, you keep lying, they keep proving you wrong. That's why.
Anybody want to fucking explain that? Why that needs to be on this app? Why anybody needed to know anything about that? Or anything at all about anything like that? There's not a fucking reason for half of this shit to be on this fucking
There's
app.
a reason
You just
to
suck.
prove
You're
that
nebby.
you're a liar.
You think you're doing something. You're not.
But they are, because your money has been drying up. So yes, they have been doing something. They have been proving your lies over and over and over again. Okay, girl? Got you. Like you're going to be doing something.
And I'm going to look through the motherfucking list. And if you didn't help me get something to eat, me and my mother, if you didn't help us get something to eat, I'm coming back on one of these pages that I don't care if they go down. I got about 8 pages I can rock, okay? I'm exposing the fuck.
Now, before she said she had 3 pages. Now she has 8 pages. Okay,
out of
girl.
you and see how you like it, okay? So let's play games. I got the whole chat list. Even if you didn't send shit to me, I got your number, bitch. Just wait.
So
Stay
I
tuned,
went
y'all.
in
This
there
is
when
gonna
she
get good.
said that,
I already
so she
told you.
can see that I was in there. So again, she's threatening people. She's committing extortion. And I'm going to tell you right now, I feel that Mandy is one of the ones that gives her money. Point blank, period. Mandy is scared of fucking Lisa. No, she did. Wait a minute. When she said, you guys are going to find out, I asked in the chat, first I thought it was her son. She killed her dad. Girl, stop. So she done killed her dad 3 times? Well, one time she needed money for a funeral. The second time he had a heart attack and died. And this time, okay, did he have a stroke? Yeah, she's threatening people, Arkansas. Yes, and if you send her money one time, she will keep requesting on whatever payment app. All of these things are on, they're on Discord. All these people try to help her once, didn't know who she was. She keeps bombarding them. So they send them to other people and they post them in Discord. Frauditor just, wait a minute. Let me go to Frauditor. Get the hell out of here. No, she did not. What is wrong with this girl? She keeps killing off her fucking family members. There is Frauditor Reaper 1 hour ago. Lisa threatening 1.1K people if they don't send her money. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, here we go. This was 9 minutes ago. Let's take a look. This is crazy. They're scared of Skeletor. That's what they're scared of. Wait a minute. Here we go, guys. Can you please not say I sent it? And can you please let me know if it's true? Thank you. From Lisa Richard, emergency, please read. Can you please, oh, damn it. Hold on a second. Can you please help me? Miss Annabelle, please, I'm begging you. I have nobody else I can trust. Nobody I can't tell anybody else. I can't trust anybody. OMG, it's Lisa. I need tire help ASAP. Please, my dad, he passed away last night. I think I'm in shock. Wait a minute. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I think I'm in shock. Like 3 hours ago, I'm so upset. How do you have a stroke and die in the hospital? People do it every day, Lisa. Shouldn't that be the safest place? I need to get to the clinic. I don't, but she said she had a bus pass. She said she had a bus pass. I need to get to the clinic. I don't know what to do. I can't tell anyone. I don't want them calling and messing her up. Girl, stop. She is sick. Look at this comment. Wow, you mean she's at this dad stuff again? There is no limit to what Lisa will say. Killing off her dad again. This is what, the third time? No, she doesn't, Arkansas. My God, Bobby Sue, what the hell? What the hell? I thought she was going to say that her son got locked up. I actually asked, what, did her son get locked up? I never even thought she would try the dad shit again. Get the fuck out of here. Lady Red, are you still here? You know all they're going to do is call Nicole or call Ronnie or call Jess. We know it's not true. But as I told you, she goes to people, and if you send her one time, so this, she said 2 people knew. So Miss Annabelle didn't send her money, and she also said that she sent a message to Kim Rhea, and she wouldn't help. Girl, stop. Just stop. If her dad, oh my God. Jesus Christ. Her Patreon was taken down. This is crazy. So Frauditor has an hour ago, she put it up. But Lady Red did, hold on. Where's Lady Red? Lady Red, I love how she handles this whole Lisa stuff. Lady Red did this one last night. This is the one she did. I'm going to drop that link in the chat for you. Go take a look at it. You're going to hear her talking to her son. You're going to hear her conversations with the drug dealer. You're going to hear her talking to her son, giving him pills. You're going to hear Lisa Richard. Hi, Christoph. Thank you, Bubby. I was thinking it was her son. I was thinking it was her son. I never thought she would try the dad shit again. Never thought she would try the dad shit again. Ever thought it. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm looking in the Discord right now, and they are eating her ass up. They're eating her up. So guys, have a great day. George is going live in 27 minutes. I want to say thank you for being here. And Sophie's supposed to have a roast tomorrow. Oh my God, wait a minute. There's a man arrested. Hold on. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. We were just talking about this. Hold on. We were just talking about this. Don't go nowhere. There's an update on the twins. Hold on. God damn it. It just popped in. Hold on. Let me show you this. Update on the twins that they said it was murder-suicide.
Out of Georgia, a man has been arrested in connection to the deaths of Black twin brothers. This story has a lot of twists and turns. It's going to make your blood boil. Put up the picture full mass. In Georgia, Quadir and Nazir Lewis, 19 years of age, were found dead
They said
just
it was
hours after they were expected to fly to Boston to visit friends on Saturday, March 8th. Their plane tickets
Damn, I was right.
were reportedly still in their respective wallets, found at the scene of the crime. Hikers discovered their bodies at the top of Bell Mountain. This is near North Georgia. It is the Georgia-North Carolina border, dozens of miles from where families say the brothers were living. Although police suspect the brothers died in a murder-suicide by gunshot wound, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has confirmed the arrest of former Towns County volunteer firefighter Scott Curlin, 42 years of age, in connection to the case. It gets even more interesting. According to the reports, the firefighter was fired on March 14th after he allegedly violated.
Yeah, he showed the pictures of the bodies. I don't think these guys committed murder-suicide.
Department protocol.
I don't.
Towns County Commission Cliff Bradshaw told 11 Alive, Curlin has not been charged directly in the deaths of the brothers, but he was hit with misdemeanor obstruction for allegedly snapping photos of the twins' dead bodies and then leaking those photos to the public, according to the GBI. The GBI's medical examiner has not shared the complete autopsy reports to the public yet, according to a spokesperson. Additional forensic tests are still pending. The family, however, continues to dispute the murder-suicide ruling, saying the twins would never hurt each other. Their aunt, Yasmin Bronner, said, quote, "They wouldn't do anything like this. To say they did this to each other? No. Something happened in those mountains and we want answers," end quote. In the meantime, their family has set up a GoFundMe in support of organizing a memorial for both of them. Obviously, this is not something you plan for as a parent. Cordeer and Nazir, you can go to that GoFundMe and assist. There are a lot of dynamics to this story. And we've been following this story in the state of Georgia. So one thing that stuck out to many is that they were in an area that normally they would not have been. And no one has been able to give an explanation as to why they were in those mountains and why did they miss their flight.
Yep, I don't believe this.
Absolutely no information. And then the ruling of this murder-suicide thing happened so quickly. Once again, there's no exhaustive investigation before the proclamation of murder-suicide. And thirdly, how many times have we reported on indisputable a mother's intuition or family's intuition where they knew something was off? And because of
I don't believe the murder-suicide, not for a minute. Not for a minute. Why go up to the mountains? Why do that to your parents and disappear? If you're going to do it, you want to be found. Why do that? I don't believe that for a minute. How did they get into those mountains? There was no car found there. How did they get there?
Willingness to continue to push the reality of how they knew the person, that actual justice was served and the person or people accountable were held to account. We've seen this many times on this show. There's no motive.
None.
There's no motive. There's no bad blood. These are twins.
Nothing.
These twins, according to everybody in the family, these individuals wouldn't hurt other people, let alone each other in this manner. Nothing is adding up. Nothing makes sense. And then to add on top of the chaos and the confusion, you have a local authority, obviously tied into not only the fire department, but also obviously the police department, the medical examiner's department. These individuals don't work in silos, they work together. He then takes a picture and releases it to the public. But you can't do that in a silo. You can't do that by yourself. That means you got some public folk that you can talk to.
Public folk.
That you can release this picture to.
Yep.
So who are you talking to in the public to release the picture? And why are you doing it in the first place? Who told you to do this? Have you ever done this before? If you've never done it before, that means that you're probably under a directive for the first time to do something like this, because I'm sure it's not the first time that a dead body has been found in that area. But why this time did you decide to do these actions? There are more questions than answers.
There you go.
I'm with the family on this one. There needs to be an exhaustive investigation into every element of this case. And hopefully there will be a just outcome, but we're going to stay on top of it until there is. Jackson, thoughts here?
Thank you. So I just don't believe it. I don't believe it's a murder-suicide. I've said it from the beginning. I don't know why it's taken so long for the medical examiner to release anything, because you do the gunshot residue when you get the bodies in the morgue. They'll do it on the scene. So you mean to tell me you can't tell us if there was gunshot residue on their hands? You can't tell us that? You can't tell us who shot who first? This is crazy. Were there two guns? Did they bring two guns to the scene? Did you find two guns, or did you just find one gun? So one shot the other one and then he shot himself? That should be easy. I want to know what happened. And if that's the conclusion, hey, come out and say it. But for some reason, they haven't said anything yet. Nothing. Nothing. This is crazy. I want to know what happened. How did they get up there? The mother and her sister and the uncle, they said they have never been in that area. Why would they go to that area? Just like Micah Miller didn't know where the hell she was. But you heard somebody whispering to her. But you Google mapped it and you still couldn't tell them where you were. Are you kidding me? Something is very wrong with that picture. So anyway, this is coming from Indisputable by Dr. Rashid. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. You guys can go check him out. I am getting out of here. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys, but I did forget that firefighter was arrested for sharing those photos of the bodies of those two young men. I forgot about that one. I thought it was another arrest in the case. But you guys have a great Friday. I will see most of you in George's chat. That poor mother, the whole family, 19 years old. 19 years old. They were found hours after they were expected to fly to Boston. This happened on March 8th. We're now at March 21st. They had their plane tickets in their wallets. In their wallets. If they weren't going to catch the flight, why would they have the plane tickets on them? That makes no sense to me. If I'm going to go commit murder-suicide, I'm not taking plane tickets with me. You guys have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.